Welcome to another episode of Movie Talk Mondays. I am your host, Seez Monroe. So let's talk about why Alien Romulus was so amazing and one of the most anticipated films of the summer. It made its $50 million that it was projected to make this weekend, and honestly, I felt like I wanted it to be in like the 9-figure mark. It just didn't make that. It's okay. I feel like it's going to have a strong second weekend. I feel like this movie is going to be profitable. That's the goal right now. I feel like this movie deserves so much more of that, but it is what it is right now. Alien Romulus starts off with these 6 characters, including the android that's trying to escape the planet that they're on to go to a planet called Ivaga, because basically Ivaga is like Earth, and the planet that they're on has no sunlight, like at all, 0 days out of the year. So I understand the plan. Problem is, they need to work like 4 years straight to get the numbers that they need to conclude them from their work on that planet to go to another planet. Now, our main character was finessed out of the situation and she had to do 8 years. They just doubled her time because they needed more workers. That's crazy. That kind of sounds like the workforce. But either way, they needed more workers, and she just felt like she wasn't going to be able to do it. She got some friends that convinced her that there's a way off of the planet, and they took that way off the planet. Now, of course, we seen in the trailer, trouble pursues after that, right? The space shuttle that they actually see is actually a space, or that they actually noticed was actually a space station that was left abandoned. Now, at the beginning of this film, you kind of see where Alien, the original, left off and where this film began. So this is a sequel to Alien, a prequel to Aliens. So you have that there. That's the fun in it, right? We already know what's going on in this world. So it gets you excited. And me personally, again, like I said, I didn't know too much about it until I went back and watched the original Alien. I don't remember these movies specifically because it's been so long since I've watched them. They're phenomenal films. I take that back. They're good films. They're okay films. Not all 6 are great. Let's be honest with ourselves. And we're not going to get into the Alien vs. Predator because I feel like they're not even a part of this realm of films at all, because it just doesn't make sense at this time. I feel like those movies were cash grabs, and the first Alien vs. Predator wasn't a bad film. So if you haven't seen it, go see it. Alien vs. Predator Requiem, definitely leave that off your Christmas list. It's not even worth watching. You'd rather watch paint dry on the wall. Like, it's really that bad. That's neither here nor there. I'm getting off course. But again, going to the space station, they encounter some face huggers. Is what they call these creatures. But my problem is with this, right? They go into a lab to get, they need some fuel for their cryopods so they can make it to this planet. That's kind of an important part that I left out there. And they need to go into the lab to get the fuel for the cryopods. Now, they noticed that when they pull one of the fuel tanks, the lab pretty much went into lockdown. This went from these face huggers being in these like cryopacks themselves, and it started to get warm in the room. So it started to get warm in the cryopacks themselves. So I'm guessing that they freeze at a certain temperature. It's pretty much what they're saying here. My problem is with this, I don't know if it was just for the customers or the viewers of the film, because I've watched it twice. You see that these things are not on the wall, but like in the ceilings, right? And if I'm someone and I'm going into a space station, I'm going to look around to see what's going on. And I feel like they did none of that. And when this alert happened, again, there was no looking around. They were just going for the gusto. Now, I'm not knowing if they're just pretty much showing us, the face huggers, as the consumers, or if it's too dark in the room. Let's just say that it's too dark, but we're seeing it because we're watching the film. But even then, they had flashlights. There's no way that they didn't see these things. So once they seen that the place went into lockdown, That's when the facehuggers were released. And at this time, David was going through an upgrade that he needed to get them out of the lab. So they go face to face with these facehuggers. They somehow escape, and the facehuggers got one of the, I want to say the main person that was driving the ship. What do you call those? The main pilot. There you go. They get her, and of course, from the facehuggers getting the main pilot, you know where this is going to go. There's going to be a decision that needs to be made if we're going to let this person back on the ship, or are we going to leave this person behind? Unfortunately, in every horror film, you take the person with you, because without taking a person with you, you have no story. And this is what I have a problem with. This is the horror part of this film, if that makes sense. This is a sci-fi horror film. That's the horror part of this film. When those horror movies that you guys love so much, I love horror movies too, but the storyline hooks me. If it ain't a good storyline, I'm not there for it. In this movie, that makes no sense, because I know that there's going to be some type of repercussion with letting this person back on this ship. Or if, let's just say I didn't know. I know to watch this person, right? No, all bets are off. None of that was thought of. There's no spacesuits. I don't know what's going on. This person is infected by this alien. Personally, that person would have been left. We would have been gone, but that's neither here nor there. The person gets back on the ship. The facehugger implanted the seed that they need, and we seen it in the trailer. The xenomorph busted out of their chest. Plain and simple. And this is where the havoc starts. Which is okay, because again, we're used to this. By the way, we meet an android. His name is Rook. Rook is the same android from the original Alien film. I'm pretty sure that in the original Alien film, the android had a different name. But the android has a certain, as you can see from like the Prometheus films, the android has a duty. And even with the android that's helping the main characters out, has a duty. And to get them out of the lab and around the space station, they needed the android that was there. They needed his data. So they put it into the new android, and that's when he was updating during the facehugger scene. So with that, the new data comes with new objectives. Again, because we're used to this, we know that this is coming, we see this coming. So with those things, I felt like it could have been done a little bit better. Reason being is we've seen this in other films, and I felt like this could have been a very different point they could have put across with this android. But unfortunately, it just wasn't there. Again, that's the horror part of the film. Storytelling wise, plot wise, I felt was weak. Storytelling wise, I felt was great, if that makes sense. The plot wasn't the greatest. Storytelling wise, I felt like it was phenomenal. That's why I gave it such a high rating. This film kept me entertained, and it kept me wanting more, right? And that's what you want from an Alien film. There's not much that's going to surprise you with it being the 6th film in the series. It's just there. So again, fast forward through all that, we go back to the black goo from Prometheus, which was another Easter egg that was in there. A lot of callbacks to a lot of other films. If you haven't seen the other Alien films, I recommend you guys go watch them, because there's going to be a lot of callbacks. Now, is it necessary to enjoy this film? Not at all. Is it nice to know? Absolutely. And on top of that, I feel that these Alien films don't have a specific timeline yet, which is great, and I'm going to tell you why later. I just want to get to the end of this review. All in all, it led to our main character, Rain, getting out of there with the android. Everybody else pretty much is dead, okay? We're not going to get into too much of it because I want you guys to go see it, and plus, I spoiled enough for you. So, the reason why I was excited about the way this movie turned out and the way they did it is because this movie is going on, I believe, 45 years. This movie this is a 50-year-old franchise and we're still referencing the first film. This gives me hope for MCU movies, and I'm going to tell you why. MCU is approximately 15 years old. Maybe if you want to include Blade in it, all that other great stuff is 25 years old. Now, the difference is with the MCU from 15 years ago, there's 26, 27 movies. With Alien, there's 6 films, 2 Alien versus Predator films, and then if you want to include Alien versus Predator, then that's only right to include the Predator films, which there's about, I want to say 5 of those, 6 of those as well. So 5 or 6 of those as well. So again, even adding all those up, they still come out to about half of what Marvel has going on at this time right now. But I remember the problem being is it's been too long. This 15 years, it's time to come up with a new story, which I agree. But if we can keep the same storyline as a Alien film and go 50 years, I feel like we can keep this MCU thing going. Again, the problem is the amount of films that you have to watch to keep up with it. And on top of that, they're throwing shows in there. Me being selfish, I would like them to continue the storylines. But I understand if they have to eject from what we got going on now and go into something different. So there's that. I just wanted to put that out there. A lot of people, I was just talking to a friend about Deadpool versus Wolverine. By the way, I want to end my Alien Romulus review. Alien Romulus, amazing movie. Definitely go check it out. Let's get into what me and my friends were talking about when it comes to Deadpool and Wolverine. Just real quick. The movie made no sense. There was no plots there. There's not really a story there, right? The reason being is because the main plot of that movie was taken out. From a leaked script, we learned that Kang was a big part of Deadpool versus Wolverine. The reason why Wolverine is in this film, and he's the quote-unquote worst Wolverine, is because at the time that Wolverine or the X-Men was fighting Kang, Wolverine ran away. Because they were, I don't know if it was I'm pretty sure it was out of fear. He became a drunk, his people were dying. He ran away from the situation. With Kang being removed from that, it leaves, this is the worst Wolverine of them all. And they just never explain why. And that's why in the film, when he's trying to get his family, when he's trying to bring the X-Men or get the X-Men back, you don't really feel it because there's nothing there. It's just, there's a storyline you throw a hint of a storyline out there and we know nothing about it. You show nothing about it. We don't really care too much about it at all. It's just, now he's just another guy. So that's a part of the reason why I dislike this movie so much. It's not because I knew about the plot hole. Well, no, I knew the plot hole, but I didn't know about the script until later on. But again, with these plot holes in this film, on top of that, that's plot hole like number 103. My main problem with this film was there was nothing solved in that film. So it kind of upset me with that. And on top of nothing being solved in that film, when Logan takes place is like, I want to say 2029 or something like that. But this film takes place in 2018. So Logan is not even gone yet. But again, how Kang explained it, time moves differently and it's not a straight line, right? So I tried to give him grace with that. But when you also find out the leak plots, or not the leak plot, but the leak script with those plots in there, it kind of messes up the movie just that much. I promise you guys, I don't mean to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine so much. It's just, I'm a big Marvel head and this film kind of messed it up for me. But it was an enjoyable film. All right, let's get to the next topic of today. I want to talk about Kraven the Hunter. I don't know if you guys have seen this trailer. Definitely go check it out. But with this trailer, the first trailer, I'm going to just say it now. I seen the first trailer maybe a year after watching Morbius. or a year after Morbius came out. And I just thought instantly, this is going to be the worst garbage ever. It just looked terrible. After watching this second trailer and just seeing where they're going with this film, I kind of have hope in it. But I don't have too much hope. The reason being is it all depends on where they go with it. The reason why I had hope for Morbius is because if we were to tie it in Blade into Morbius, because if you guys don't know, that's how Blade becomes the Daywalker. If they tie that in and they tie in the storyline of why Morbius is who he is and what he used to get to the way he is, it could have been a great film. Not great. It could have been a good film, a solid film. With Kraven, I don't feel like Kraven has that much going for him, but they have villains in there like the Rhino. And then after the Spider-Man 2 game that came out, about I want to say 8 months ago or so, after that game came out, I feel like that Kraven that we were introduced to in that game was phenomenal. That storyline with Kraven, I never heard of that. I never got that. And the writers of that game, they did a phenomenal job with Kraven, as well as Harry Osborn, as well as just the symbiote suit, just the Venom symbiote in general. They did a phenomenal job with that, and I didn't see that coming. The writers of that game did a phenomenal job, and I feel like they need to start taking hints of that and moving with better writers into the MCU, because if they utilize those writers that's for those games, you'll get better storytelling. And the reason why I have hope for Kraven is because Sony is behind the PlayStation games, and they're also behind the movies. So I feel like if they can utilize the writers from the games for this film, it should be a solid film. And just seeing Rhino, the way Rhino looks in this trailer, I think that's dope. I think the robot idea is just dumb. These are superhero films, guys. They're not supposed to be based on reality or based in reality. Let it be what it is, right? It's phenomenal. And that's one of those things that you just need to let go. Let the comic book aspect of things stay in these films because it works. It worked all those years for a reason. So keep it in there. So that's why I have confidence in Kraven the Hunter. I can't wait to see it this December now because the second trailer was phenomenal. Hopefully they probably do some reshoots and add a little bit more flavor in there because, again, it still seems a little bland. But I think this movie is going to be okay. Not great, but I think it's going to be an okay film. It's going to be an okay watch. They should keep the runtime about 2 hours and under. Don't go over trying to go too deep into things because he's just not that interesting of a character, to be honest with you. So, can't wait to see that. What do we have on the docket next? Hold on. Crow. So, for the Seez Monroe show, I will be discussing the Crow film. I'm excited for this film. I don't know if you guys have seen the trailers. What more can I say about it? It's a anti-hero. We know what Crow is. It's a remake of the 90s film with Bruce Lee's son, Brandon Lee. Like, what more do you guys expect out of these things? But I'm kind of worried about it because they're saying it is only going to make about $12 million for its opening weekend. That's definitely something to be worried about because I'm pretty sure this film costs about $80 million to make. And a $12 million opening, and knowing that it's only going to go lower from there is kind of scary. I've never seen something that costs that much be projected that low at box office, but we did just have Borderlands that cost $120 million to make and only made $8 million at box office. So we'll see where that things go with that. So that's pretty much it, guys. So I'll see you guys later on this week for the Seez Monroe show. We're going to talk The Crow. I hope it's good. Fingers crossed, man. Like this, it looked good. It looks good. Looking at the trailer, it looks like it's going to be a good movie. We'll see. All right. I'll see you later this week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Tell me your thoughts in the comments. Have you seen Alien Romulus? Do you plan to see Alien Romulus? Do you think my thoughts are valid? How did you feel the film was? Go ahead and leave it down below. Kraven, what do you think we should take it with Kraven? Did you guys play the Spider-Man 2 game? It's only on PlayStation. So for all you Xbox users, I'm pretty sure you haven't played it yet. It's okay. Just come home. Just come on over. Thirdly, The Crow. Are you guys seeing it this weekend? Do you feel that it's deserving of a view because it's only projected $12 million? Let me know down in the comments. I appreciate y'all for tuning in for another week of Movie Talk Mondays. I'll see you later on for the Seez Monroe Show. Peace.